doing? What was with the intro? So we're live.
Sorry, but
boys and girls, welcome to BJonGameDay for another week. You've got your host, you've got Josh here, Brendan as well, and Bogan in the background. Lads, welcome to Supercoach, round 12, Teamless Tuesday. God of War, Joshy Papali on the front cover. Game 250 last week, and he had a massive one. So did the Raiders. Absolutely smashed the Bunnies. Boys, Supercoach was a little bit of a tough week, a little bit, maybe we're speaking about it before the show, Brent. You sort of felt deflated by the scores last week, but it was probably enough to see some green arrows for you, mate.
Yeah, it was. Like I was saying, funny old weeks sort of seemed like you scored around what we did, and you're in that top 5K, you tend to not sort of move too much. But if you're, some guys ranked out there, scored similar or better, and didn't move too much at all. So, I managed to jump up about 1,000 spots, King. So, 1087 pulls me into the top 3K, which is nice. But on the upper, it's sort of just gone well the last month, dare I say it. So, what about you, bud? You still flying?
Mate, I wouldn't say flying. I'm fucking slowly falling. 1,034, mate. Look, it wasn't tragic. You sort of pin it down to a few things. Mate, again, I can't nail captains, mate. I really can't. I got an echo on both of us, folks. Still echoing.
Fucking hold on.
Bogan, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to find my smoke.
Hang on, lads. We've got tech support on the fucking... Saying that makes him sound better. Mate, you get to hear us twice. Aren't you fucking lucky? Huh? You miss what we say the first time, you get it the second time.
Yeah, you definitely are echoing. Can I get a mic check from you, Brent?
Smell my gooch.
Yeah, cool. I don't know what it is with fucking OBS. Sometimes you're on the same audio track, and sometimes you're on separate ones. I don't fucking change any of the settings. Just every week it could be anything. So sorry about that, gents. I'm having a fucking great time. Hold on. I gotta find my smokes.
Bogan's shook.
I am fucking
Are we live, Bogs?
Testing, boys. Have we still got the echo? Let us know.
There's a delay.
King is fixed and Brent is fixed.
No, we're good now, boys.
Thanks, boys.
All right, well, that'll do. Mate, 1,034. Couple of sort of key players for me, mate. Ruben Garrick played well. He turned up. Matto continued his good form, and that's sort of been a really good pod for me. But like I say, mate, the captain choices are just killing me. Munster last week scored fuck all. I feel like I've probably given up 400 to 500 points, and that's what I'm behind first over the past sort of 6 or 7 weeks. I know you can't get it right every week, but it'd be nice to get it right one week, and I just feel like I just can't get that. So, I reckon we sort of have to announce who we've got with the captains, and anyone I say just stay away from them completely.
I totally agree, but I think I had a look at your team over the weekend and saw, I think it was Munster, wasn't it? So I was disappointed for you because you're doing well, but you're still in the upper, mate. You're still flying. What, you top?
Yeah, still inside top 400, mate. So 390 odd. So, mate, but maintaining that sort of position behind first. I think I'm about 480 odd behind now. So. Look, over the next 13, 14 rounds, hopefully we can claw that back. Definitely in a good position coming into that first bye round. Running out of trades, mate, down to 17 after I used 2 this week. So that's definitely going to hurt. But, just soldier on, mate, and see how we go. Bogan, how did you go, mate?
Fucking terrible. Why am I fucking here doing this shit? Don't get paid for it. Fucking don't even score 900 in Supercoach.
Yeah.
Get fucking woken up from a fucking nap. Forget to change the fucking intro. Still got the Andrew fucking Simmons fucking bit from last week.
Mate, I'll tell you what, you're supposed to be the professional one out of the three of us, mate. We're supposed to be the fucking useless cunts.
We were talking, King, if Bogan did happen to fall asleep or, God forbid, get in a car accident or something like that, we'd be absolutely screwed because we've got no contingency. Yeah. We would have been sitting there with our dicks in our hand.
The show would be over. Boys, if Bogan wanted to pack up tomorrow, BJonGameDay is finished. So God only hope that he makes that decision sooner or later. Anyway.
Big shout out to everyone in the chat as well. We can see Matty, Shano, Benny, all the regulars, as always. Shieldsy, how are you, gents? Good evening. Thanks for joining us, as always. Gleno, it's all happening, boys. Big week. Obviously, round 11 in review, King. One more week till that big round 13 bye, bud. So starting to get the teams ready for that 13, which some people aren't going too hard for, but we'll get there.
Yeah, mate, it is. And obviously, big news out of last week was Tommy Turbo going down, with that shoulder dislocation. Out for the season, out for, there was some glimmer of hope that he could come back with a few games, but I think from what I read from all reports, he's basically gone. They're talking about 5 to 6 months out and, recovery time from these surgeries. So, mate, next year going to be very, very juicy odds. I think he'll be in a lot of teams come next year with an average of 65 to get scored against, and that'll be legit. That won't they won't be able to embellish that at all, but yeah, we might get on to the games from last week.
Quickly before we move on, mate, we've got Big Ted in the chat tonight. Evening, brother. Thanks for joining us. Big Ted was across the ditch,
and he probably won't stick around for the leagues because that tends to be quite late for him over there. But I'll tell you what,
he's in the chat. He must have had a good week last week. What did he score?
Big Ted, he's on the charge. I think he scored close.
Well,
close
boys,
to 1,200, but he was
across the ditch. He was across the ditch in the last couple of weeks, boys. So I actually caught up with him on Friday. Went and watched the Manly Para game in Sydney with him. So, Big Ted, mate, it was a pleasure to catch up. Good to catch up with you, mate. Meet your beautiful missus and your young nephew.
The footage?
You could have taken a selfie or something.
It was chaotic. Mate. And, yeah, brother, it was great. So, yeah, it was good, Kingy. Met a couple of the boys now, Ados and Big Tedo. So,
very good.
I never thought I'd be saying this line online. Get fucked, Bungalicious.
Yeah. Up the milk.
Anyway, shout out Big Teddy. Good to see you, brother. It was great to catch up.
Very good. All right, Bugs, we've got the games from last week.
We do have the game from last week.
Here we go. Oh, we've gone back to the old school setup now.
Yeah, well, the whole design of the new setup was to get you to do it faster, and it didn't work, and it was time consuming for me, so it just went back to the old way.
Mate, I'll tell you what, Selwyn Cobbo is like that piece of paper that you chase in the wind. You drop something on the ground. You dropped a $20 note on the ground, and it's fucking blowing a gale.
He's not,
and you're there chasing it across the fucking floor, trying to put your foot on it.
Not though. He's that $20 note that I fucking threw out in the trash because I think I flushed it down the toilet because I thought it was fucking useless. Bit of paper.
Mate,
it was a win and trifecta ticket, Joshy, that I've screwed up and thrown away.
Mate, I had him for the first 3 weeks, then I got rid of him. I'm really not devastated because I don't think anyone that sort of is ranked up there has him anymore anyway. So he's definitely, he's a pod for anyone outside that top sort of 3,000 or 4,000, I reckon. But other than that,
surely he's
king.
He's due to be given that title of rocks and diamonds.
I'll tell you what, boys. I traded him out. I think it was 2 weeks ago. He was about 350 odd K or something like that.
He scored 14 tries since then, mate.
Was he 350? He was about 350 or so.
Oh, fuck, Supercoach experience is in the fucking chat, and he doesn't have a wrench. Sorry, guys, keep talking.
About 4 weeks ago, I sold Cobbo King because I thought to myself, he's got the 20s in him. He's got the 30s in him as well. He does have the 80s, 90s, but it's too much of a roller coaster. He's not guaranteed to hit his 30 break even, King. So I went straight from him to Chewy Tipolata, the Manly fella.
Yeah.
And Cobbo hasn't scored anywhere near 30 since until this week where he scored 130. And
well, mate, Tipolata's been good.
Oh, it's killed me, mate.
Yeah, look, it's a shitty decision once the scores come up, mate. But Tuipolata, he has been good for Manly, so I don't think you can sort of curse it too much.
No, and I think I was just more. I think at the time Tuipolata had a minus 40 break even. It was a guaranteed, cash run, even if you just stepped on the park. So it was more just a numbers decision, but it really hurts because I brought Cobbo in. I didn't start with him, brought him in, and I thought he looked good, and then you jump off and he starts doing this shit. But anyway, I'm sure there's still some 30s in him. But you're right. No one up top has him, and it just
the lads from SC experience. How many minutes am I getting this week, boys? Who knows? I think the polish has gone off Joshy King a little bit, hasn't it? Like, I'm waiting for the relegation to the bench, to be fair.
The Supercoach experience is here, Josh. Do I have to do the fucking... Because you wanted me to do the transitions like Supercoach experience, so there you go, mate.
Mate, these boys, there you go. Look, I tell you what, they're the number one in the business, mate. They've got Timmy, they've got the champ. Savs is just a perennial, top 1,000 guy. Mate, we can aspire to be better. We can aspire to be better. We can take inspiration from everywhere, mate.
Over to Brent for the reaction to your talking. Yeah, it's very professional.
Is Savs, if it's you, mate, are you a perennial top 1,000? Because King's just throwing these outlandish statements out there, mate, and we don't.
Mate, what are you talking about? The bloke's been ranked in the top 1,000 for the last 6 fucking years.
Oh, fuck, I wouldn't know. How do you know? You fucking read his bibliography or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, well, you're going to get no more scene changes from now on because I'm half asleep. I'm going to be checking my own team while you're talking.
But have you still got Ezra Mann, mate?
No, I never had him. I never had him. But he looked good. Look, it was a tale of two halves, King, this one. I think Newcastle squandered probably 3 tries in that first half and, had all the ball, had all the running, but couldn't get it done. And then, Brisbane just finished too strong and we just weren't really in it by the end of it. Milf looked pretty good, I thought. King, surprisingly, he actually added a bit to us.
I'm sort of really surprised he only scored 43 points, to be fair. He seemed like he was in everything. And, whether it was just being fresh, he definitely looked like he's probably carrying about 5 to 10 kilos too much. I'm sure that'll come with a bit of game fitness. But, mate, he added that bit of extra dynamic that the Knights have missed. In saying that, you still got smashed by fucking 24 points. So, what good is it, mate? I thought the Knights probably played their best game in a while. And like I say, mate, if you still get towed up by 24 by the Broncos, something's going wrong.
Well, Broncos have turned a bit of a corner, you prick. But, yeah, we didn't play that second half. So, who knows? We got a couple of those tries. Look, KP looked good. Looked probably the best he's looked all season. He top scored with 79. And, obviously, Cobbo run amok. Obviously, pulled our pants down with the big 130. But there was plenty of points out there for that Brisbane side. Obviously, scoring the 36 points, King. Shout out to Wild Turkey as always if you're watching.
Thanks to our sponsors, Wild Turkey. Cheers, lads. I'm still waiting for that carton to come in the mail every week, but you've got my address.
A lot of people probably not looking at a lot of guys in these two teams to pick up at the moment just because neither of them play the round 13 fixture, but there's still some quality in both sides, and post round 13, I think there'll be a few players from that Brisbane team finding their way into a few people's teams as well, potentially, King. But we'll wait and see what happens, mate.
Hey, look, I brought in Barnett last week. I just like his energy, mate. It's sort of a Nathan Brown like over the last few years. I just didn't realise that he rushes out and misses 15 tackles every game. So that minus sort of 15 really sort of hurts, but. He played solid for a 54. I'll take it.
I think the one that the shout out is, and he's been hot for about a month now, and that's Big Clem.
Yes.
600k now, back to 600k. He's seems to be getting like that 60, 65 minutes pretty consistently. All on the weekend, he only played the 52, but it's like the offloads come back, King. Which makes a big difference to his score. It's the difference between him scoring 50 and 70 because when he gets that offload going, he's effective with it. They do hit the mark. So yeah, a lot of people have been bringing him in, and
mate, look, the form he's in is a little bit obviously of a turn back. We look at Haas and the effectiveness he's had. These two are the form front rowers in the comp. If you sort of take out IPAP, I know a lot of people have got IPAP at front row as well. Just with that duality, obviously IPAP you can dominate the second row. But either way, mate, look, Clemmer and Payne Haas. Bye rounds aside, they don't play 13, and obviously Haas is going to play Origin. Does Clem make Origin based on form, mate? Like, is he a chance?
I think he's out of the circle now. If he didn't get picked, I think last year, I think he's done.
Because I honestly, I can't understand why there's so much hype around Junior Paulo. I can't say it how they want to fucking say it now. He's still going to be Junior Paulo to me.
Paulo.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand why Paulo is solid, but I just don't see him as an Origin player.
Jeez, who's that? Someone's ringing. Folks. Oh, right. I don't fucking watch Jeopardy. He's telling us to move along.
I'm telling you to hurry up because you're spending a lot of time on fucking Knights versus Broncos, for fuck's sake.
All right, move on. See, if you had done the thing up, taken the time to do the thing up, we'd be done.
Yeah, exactly. If you hadn't been fucking sleeping, mate, we would have been through it early. All right, Tigers this one for the Doggies in the first Friday night game, 36-22. Some big games from Matty Burton, obviously the Liam Knight Award winner this year. He seems to have turned a little bit of a corner. A lot of people looking at him for round 13. TPJ, a solid 71, does find himself on the bench this week. Maxi King takes his second row spot. So be interesting to see what happens there, whether it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors and Pangai comes to the starting side. We'll just have to wait and see. Kiraz, mate, he maintains his spot. This guy looks good. I just love this guy's energy. He holds that wing spot over Ockenbaugh. So, mate, Kiraz minus 83 break even, I think. I mean, I'm not talking about a must-have at this time of the season, but if you were chasing some cash, if you wanted to sort of generate, this guy's probably going to pick up 200 to 300K over the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Well, mate, he's bottom dollar for a start, so if you're looking for a bit of cash generation, he's in the ideal candidate for that. But the fact he's scored 56 and 85 in his first 2 starts is just means money, doesn't it? So he plays that round 13 fixture, which is beautiful. Hopefully, we assume he should be there. So, I mean, jump on this week, perfect downgrade option.
I had to bring him in because some cunt's injured. I can't remember who.
And I guess there was a lot of people that jumped on Peoples, King as well, who's not even in the 17 at this point in time. We'll wait and see what happens there. But it just goes to show, I guess you got to be careful jumping on guys early before they, do their rise or whatever. But yeah, Kira's looks the goods. Just get him in if you're looking for a cheapy option this week because he should play next week as well. Hopefully, Ockenbaugh's been dropped, so looks like it's his to lose. And they just re-signed him, I think, for a 3-year deal or something a few weeks ago. So maybe security's good.
Absolutely. And, mate, for the Tigers, we've seen it in a few chats and we see it in the comments there tonight again from Gleno. Garner, a little bit of a pod action, second row forward, has got that centre wing status now as well. Mate, I mentioned in the chat a few years ago, the combination that he had with Luke Brooks on that left-hand side at the Tigers was gold. It was probably a run of 10 or 12 games where he'd probably score every game, every second game, and just looked really good. He's probably had to learn to be a little bit more versatile over the years. He sort of lost that guaranteed second row spot on the left. And, he's changed sides, changed positions here and there, but he definitely looks like good enough to maintain that centre wing sort of starting spot.
King, do you know, was it last week he was named to start off the bench and then ended up getting promoted to the starting side in the back rows? He had the last 2 weeks on the edge?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, okay. I must admit, I hadn't.
Well, I mean, look, Brent Naden comes in this week. He's back in, I think he's in the second row still ahead of Tuolangi.
But, I mean, it's interesting. I haven't paid too much attention to him because I just hear the name Garner and I don't know. I just don't. Fuck me, what's going on with all these background noise back? Fucking throw me.
I'm just trying to get fancy.
But I mean, if you take the sample last 2 weeks, if he started on the edge last week, he only scored 28 points in base, which isn't great. If he did end up starting on the edge and staying there, I'm not too sure in that game. And last week he bumped it up a bit to 49, so that's good. I guess the only issue with him is as soon as they have an injury to an outside back or something like that, he's probably their Mr. Victim of versatility and puts out. So you're going to cop a bit of that. But I mean, at 408K, is he dual centre wing second row? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
He's had that added just recently. I mean, he doesn't play 13, but 400K, you probably do worse, I guess, while he's starting on the edge. But yeah, I haven't looked at him, I must admit.
And, mate, one last shout-out before we go to the next game. Alex 12, 53 points for Supercoaches. Unfortunately, in game 100, it didn't come to fruition where we see the whole crowd storm the field if he scored a try. And, mate, there was a chance. There was a chance. I don't know. Did you watch this game, mate?
No, I didn't catch any of this.
Mate, there was a chip and chase or something like that. And I don't know. Who beat him to the ball, guys? Anyone in the comment can tell me. Mate, he got beat to the ball by about half a step by one of the backs. And you just saw the look on the face, mate. Like, his face just dropped. It was like someone chucked the sad filter on him. He was fucking devastated. So, look, he will get that try eventually. But he's definitely turned into a player that West Tigers and super coaches can rely on. Mate, he's always been a favourite of mine for a few years now. So, he's doing quite well.
Yeah, for sure. Get him double up or nothing in game 101, King. Double or nothing.
Absolutely. Next game, folks, Friday night game. Look, what a cracker. This was an amazing game. I think for 78 minutes, Eels were just the better team and were in front. 90 seconds to go, Eels scored in the corner, and Mitch Moses with a cracking kick from the sideline to take that lead 22-20, and that's how it finished. Mate, Ruben Garrick, Madison, for me, like I say, they've been some really big pods for me this year, or I guess Madison over the last few weeks, and bringing in Garrick a couple of weeks ago. And I'm sort of glad. A lot of people tried to talk me out of Talakai to Garrick. I'm sort of glad that I did it now because Talakai's dropped a shitload of cash, and even though he's got centre wing status now, he is looking a little bit flaky even as a keeper there.
No, you done well, mate. Some of those big decisions can have big impacts on your season as well. I mean, you sit on Talakai and cop those 40s for the last few weeks, and the blood and the cash loss, obviously. So you've jumped, and then as obviously Tommy going down now, you'd imagine Garrett goes straight to fullback. Whether you'd prefer him on the wing in the team with Turbo at fullback or him at fullback, who knows? But it is what it is, and yeah, some good points there, mate. Well done. Penasini again continues to reward owners. King with a 97 scored that try, that crucial try at the end there. The kid's an absolute weapon. But yeah, Matto's been a big one. King as well, I must admit. Again, just sort of looked past him with all this stuff with him starting on the bench and then moving around this and that. But anyone that's jumped on big last 3 weeks, you'd have a 3-week average of over 90 and yeah, 91, 107, 91. There's some impressive numbers no matter who you are. So yeah, well done to anyone jumped on over 700k with a pretty low break even, 40 odd break even this week. So yeah, you've done real well there with Matto, mate. Good pickup.
And mate, IPAP moved into the centres. Sorry, not in the centres, but obviously in the centre of the park. Played lock for a fair bit of the game. Obviously moved back out to the second row for, probably about half the game. But just continues to score points for any owners, mate. He's probably a vital own for anyone who sort of had him so far or people have got him in.
Yeah, I must admit, being at the game, I didn't notice him switch. I didn't realise he actually went in the middle for a bit, which I thought was quite interesting when I heard that. But yeah, he's a beast. What can you say? He's just pumps out 70s minimum for fun, really, doesn't he? So that's what you want. You want that consistent, safe scoring. And there was plenty of people that chucked the C on him over the weekend just due to some of the conditions. But yeah, you could do way worse and get him in ASAP, especially in that front row spot. I reckon King, he's the man.
Now, guys in the chat, let's just have a chat. I'm assuming that a lot of us have sort of gone turbo over the last week or two, just with the outs with Pappy. The potential there, regardless of the injuries that we saw from the previous week. We've obviously now sent him out for the season. But if you do have turbo, guys, who are you going to? Who's sort of the trade going to change to? Do you sort of make 2 trades this week? Maybe use a boost. Do you use the cash elsewhere? Do you bring in a bona fide fullback again for him? What's everyone thinking with regards to Turbo? Hampton, did you end up getting him?
Yeah, I brought him in against Brisbane, I think it was, and then he was looking real good in that. It sort of looked like he'd overshook that bloody injury or whatever, but he's gone. So I don't have Cleary, mate. I'm going straight to Cleary from Hines. Cleary's, got to get him in. He's torture to watch, obviously, but now's the time. So I'll just forget about it, take the hit. I got 600k in the bank, King, so it doesn't really phase me to upgrade him, and we'll carry on as if it never happened.
You're saying you've got 600k in the bank before any trades?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you getting green arrows lately?
Oh, sorry, no, I did that trade last week. I did that one trade I talked to you about, which cost me 180,000. I got just over 400. Sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. So just over 400. So I'll just upgrade it and forget it ever happened and get Cleary in, mate. That'll be me sorted. What did you end up doing?
Mate, look, yeah, obviously Turbo's going to go for me. I've had a couple of different thoughts. I'm trying to think of obviously who to bolster in the second rows. My forward pack's been a little bit weak the last few weeks. I've got players like Luke Thompson and Maxi King who I've had to be starting purely just based on who I've had in there. My thoughts were to go, maybe even go to the Carraz and sort of chuck one of the centres at fullback there, just take Teddy by himself at fullback. It's just really hard, mate. Like, I don't see any sort of standouts that I'm missing. And that's what I'm just trying to figure out is who'll be the right player to bring in. I'm considering Cam McInnes, mate. Now he just seems to have gotten a bit of traction at the Sharks, getting a few more minutes with injuries. Yeah, look, it's a hard one, mate. I've been thinking about DCE as well, but again, Manly have just been so uninspiring, and the only time they ever look good is when Turbo's sort of running the show. So I'm just wondering, with Turbo out, does that reduce Garrick's performances? Does that bring DCE back down? Yeah, a few things running through my mind, mate. So,
what about any danger? You prepare the war chest just for when Little Paps is ready to come back. I know he's still probably a few weeks away, but do you look for an option or just make some short-term cash for the next 2 or 3 weeks as opposed to huge points, and just get ready to get that Little Pappy straight back in when he's fit?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be vital, obviously, to have him once he's fit. I think the big question for me is, does Paps play Origin? Let's say he misses game 1. Does he play Origin games 2 and 3? Yeah, you got to have him. If Paps is playing, mate, and when he comes back, he's just shown, mate, that he's one of those top 4 or 5 players in Supercoach. And I think, especially if you're in the top 100, top 500, if you don't have him and he's available and he's there, he's going to hurt you.
Joey Manu might be not a bad one.
That's all right. I wasn't going to say that's
no, all right. Sorry.
So,
sorry.
So yeah, keep going, mate.
I think we talked about 20 minutes ago.
Tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, mate. Go for 3 hours.
I've sort of snuck Turbo to Joey this week just for that buy round, and yeah, I think that the Roosters are starting to come good. It seems. I know they obviously got towed up by Penrith last week, but yeah. Anyway, we've got the Dragons up against the Warriors. Mate, SJ, a little bit of a turn back. I still think you can't have him. The consistency's not there at the moment. Lomax had a bit of a bounce back for any owners. I know a couple of the guys in the top 10, top 100 have sort of got him in their team, so they would have been happy with his performance. I think he scored a try and obviously kicked a bag full of goals. Jazz Tevaga was solid. Tohu Harris, I think he played 80, did he, mate, or 70, like near enough to 80 for a 56. So maybe Tohu on the way back and someone to consider.
Yeah, for sure. I think he played 70 minutes and looked pretty good. He didn't have anything else in him, only 54 in pure base, but well, a little bit extra. But yeah, he looked fit. He looked back, and obviously with AFB being ruled out for the season, Lodge gone now, it means there's going to be some work for him in the middle too.
Can I ask you fellas a question before you move on to the Dragons?
No.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to ask it anyway. Reece Walsh. How come the way he plays doesn't convert to Supercoach points? Because when you watch the Warriors play and the ball goes anywhere near him, he looks incredibly dangerous. He is a fantastic he's a football player, as Blocker would say. So how come it doesn't convert over to the points?
Well, I probably can't answer the question, to be fair. Hampton, your thoughts?
I think it's just the side he's in.
Just not the opportunities for those big scoring plays.
I mean, they do score and they do score tries and stuff like that, but they're not putting teams to the sword. They're not gonna, they're getting done by the Dragons and Benny
G's saying because he doesn't touch it enough. It's like, yeah, possibly.
And that's the other thing. I don't think his base is amazing for a young fullback, Bogue. So what you're saying is that, I guess, that little footwork cutout ball that he throws, which is brilliant, but he's not like a Teddy or someone like that where he's going to truck the ball up 20, 30 times a game. Generally, his base is like sub 20 a lot of the times, which if he's not getting attacking stats is going to hurt him. But
see, I think when it comes to NRL fullbacks and their effectiveness in Supercoach, you got a few different types. Like you've got the guys who do take a lot of those hit ups. Like your Dylan Edwardses and stuff like that, really sort of good base, really get involved with kick returns and a lot of run meters. But Dylan Edwards in your gameplay doesn't really have anywhere near as much effect because guys like Cleary and Luau and fucking Kickow and guys like that are just so much more effective with how they play in attack. But then you've got Reece Walsh, who, probably is a little bit more of a ball player, a 6 and a 7. Then you've got the guns, which is your Pappies, your Teddies, and your Turbos, and they do both. That they really have the most effectiveness to play both kinds of ways. And Yeah, I think that's probably it, mate. Is Reece Walsh is definitely a creator rather than a hard worker.
I must admit, King, with the goal kicking, it makes it a little bit more bearable with him, but the Warriors have got to score tries. But he's only had a ceiling of 25 this season, but he's only top scorer with an 86. So he's not the worst downgrade option at 490k. He'll play round 13, but they have a couple of if they had a bit of a draw after round 13, I'd maybe be a bit more inclined to have a look at him. But yeah, you'll get him to basically 13 and then not worry.
13? I hadn't even
They do.
thought of that.
Yeah, they do. So
yeah, okay, gotcha.
Anyway, one for the future for sure, Bogues. But if you're picking him up now at this point of the season, it's a bit of a punt. But I agree with you. I think he'll
not going anywhere near him. It was just an observation that there's a few players out there. Dearden for the Cowboys probably another one too, where you watch them and they have that much of an effect on how well their team play if they play well, but it just doesn't translate over to points in Supercoach.
No, he will. He'll get there. He's still learning his craft and figuring it all out. We forget how young he is, but he'll be elite in the next 2 seasons, even in Supercoach, I reckon, Bugs. Quick one before we move on, King, and this bloke is on a lot of boys' lips in the chat. Jazz, your boy Jazz. You're a big fan of the Jazz, mate?
Yeah.
What are we seeing from Jazz at the moment?
Mate, I think, and I've said it for a long time, mate, the inconsistency in minutes and position has really killed him. I can't even say he's a victim of versatility because he really only plays either second row or hooker. He's a brilliant workhorse. Obviously, they've got Wade Egan there, and he sort of plays solid at 9. If you can find some kind of guarantee that Tevaga gets 70 minutes every week, I think he's a gun second hooker behind Harry Grant. The consistency rather than the ceiling is probably there compared to your Cookies and guys like that. I think Cookie's got a 40 or a 45 in him, whereas Jazz has probably got a floor of a 55 or a 60 when he gets the same kind of minutes. But, Jazz maxes out at a 90, 95. Very, very rare. I reckon you could probably count on one hand the amount of tons he's had in the last 6 years. That's without looking, mate. But he's just that consistent player that if you wanted someone every week that you didn't have to worry about what they were going to do in your team, it was just being that 60, 70 points. Mate, he's it. So,
yeah, you nailed it. I think if the minutes are good for him, if he's getting at least 50, 55, he's going to go PPM, point per minute. So it's just, like I said, with AFB now gone, Lodge now gone, you've got Curran to come back, but I still think there's a front row spot, and I guess something in the middle for him. Egan, I think, is out as well from memory. So, yeah, it's a little bit murky at the moment still, and we'll find out over the next few weeks. But I think there's going to be a few people pulling the trigger at 520k with a 30-odd break even. Because
I agree. My issue is when Egan does come back, he just seems like he just gets passed up for second-rate players in their position purely because he's not a specialist at those positions. He's just sort of that fill-in. But if you can guarantee him fucking 6 or 8 weeks at hooker, whether it's starting and then transition into a second row if someone else is on the bench. But my issue is when he starts going to the bench. Like Jazz when he goes to the bench and he's only getting 35, 40, 45 minutes off the bench, you can't have him in your team. And that's just happened too much over the past few years at the Warriors, where he just,
Anyway, buyer beware. We'll have to wait and see what happens in that Warriors pack, and that could be a big decision for Supercoaches to make this week and the next couple of weeks, whether you bring him in or not.
Yeah.
Moving on, Bogues. Probably the second game of the round at this rate. Oh, how about this one?
Oh, mate, yeah, this sort of hurt. Like I say, Munster as captain, 37, kindly upgraded from 35, got me a few extra points. The boys from the Supercoach experience asked about myself, Joshy King. You know, he's got the duality there now, but I don't know. I just...
Kamika back in the side as well now, King. He's got all that stuff sorted.
Yeah, Jesse Bromwich back this week as well.
Yeah, it might be
to take their cow to market, fellas, or
yeah, it could be 500, nearly 500k, King, and he 80 break even, 80 odd break even. I think the time is right. He's
Mate, I think I got rid of him about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I think at one stage there he got to about 450, 460.
Me too.
I'd just seen enough.
He did his job at 450, 460, whatever it was.
Yeah. Mate, for the cows, Ruben Cotter. Does he play Origin Hampton?
I reckon he does. I think Slater plays him. I saw an interview with Slater a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, whatever it was, and just from the way Billy was sort of talking about types of players they want, and Ruben Cotter epitomises everything that they sort of want. I have a feeling, I don't know, maybe he doesn't play, maybe he's 18th man, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I think he does, though. I think he does. What do you reckon?
I don't think I think he's done enough to deserve it this year, and he's been better than a lot of other players. I think probably Queensland have got more reason to blood new players rather than hold sides that as New South Wales probably will. So yeah, I think he does as well. And as a non-owner, I hope he really does.
Well, and he's a backup hooker as well. So I mean, you put him on the bench, he can fill in at hooker. He can play, in the middle there. Obviously, play lock or front row if you really need him to. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think squad's named this weekend, King. So all should be revealed. But yeah, how good were the Cowboys? 36-6. How often do you see this happen to the Storm? You never do, let alone in back-to-back weeks like they have Penrith last week and into this. But yeah, I think a lot of people would have been shocked in this one, King. Cowboys just absolutely put them to the sword. Couple of big outs, obviously, with Pap and Hughes out, and I saw some pretty damning stats today around the win percentages of Melbourne when Hughes is out compared to even when Munster's out. But yeah, Hughes was a big omission in this one as well again. So yeah, the Cowboys playing some good footy, defending well. Todd's got them sort of purring.
I'll be honest, mate. I watched this game and I thought this game was probably more about how bad the Storm were. Very unstorm-like in just the amount of errors that they made. I think, and mate, even just watching the Cowboys and their defense and their goal line defense, yes, it was great in the fact that they kept the Storm to 6, but I thought there were plenty of holes there, and I think it's interesting that the Cowboys are coming up against the Panthers this week. I hope Nathan Cleary's seen what I've seen, and I'm going to captain Cleary this week because I think they'll absolutely destroy the Cowboys. So there's a tip for the week. Going fucking 13 plus for sure.
Yeah, look, and then you get the conditions up north. They're playing in fucking 95% humidity at fucking 30 degrees. Like, there's a lot of factors there. Melbourne, yeah, they were ordinary, but we'll have to wait and see. I think I saw something about the Cowboys haven't played in Sydney since last year or something either, which was an interesting start. So, anyway, Cowboys are up. The tail's wagging. It's interesting, King. Lolo obviously went down with the MCL in this one. That was a big one coming out of this one for Lolo owners. He'll miss this week at least. Might be back for 13. Big decision to make whether you hold him now or sell him. I mean, you're not just going to sell him because he might miss 13. But I think if you've got him, he's probably a keeper till the end anyway. But hopefully he's not missing for too long. And yeah. Cole Felt.
I'm going to tip that he misses 13 as well. I'm probably going to hold purely just because of the player that he is. His break even, obviously, with an 18. I think the week before, 24, so he played limited minutes. The week before, we tipped him to play big minutes against the Storm. It didn't exactly happen, obviously, with that injury. So his break even when he does come back will be absolutely massive. I think he misses 13, mate. I think they're going to be conservative around him just with where the team's at. I think it gives Payton the chance to sort of test out a few of these young lads and just see how reliable they are. Take away their leader, and just see how they can sort of, go into it. But
yeah, I think maybe some bad advice from my part. I didn't realise his BE was so high, so there might be a few people selling him, King. 400, just under 500k with 120 plus break even. So
yeah,
fair play to sell if that potentially big bleed of cash.
Yeah,
and maybe not playing 13. Maybe you could wait a week, and if he doesn't play 13, jump off then.
Yeah. There's no, obviously if he doesn't play 13, there's no necessity to jump off this week unless you want to use the cash somewhere else. He's not going to drop this week. We know that. You talked about earlier, mate. Obviously, a lot of these sort of rookies that you get at 175, rather than bringing in after 1 week, make sure they're playing that third week to get the price rise. You can do the same with Lolo and anyone else who's dropped out. Turbo as well. Like if you don't want to sort of dump the cash straight away and you got other plans, you can dump Turbo next week.
He's not losing anymore.
Yeah, they're not losing anymore. So, yeah, that's all good.
No, good call.
Next game, folks.
Move on. Even though should have lots of Cowboys players in your team, but no one probably does.
Yeah, I haven't got a single one. Yeah, look, the Panthers. I didn't actually catch this game, Hampton. I was a little bit busy, but I thought if anyone was going to sort of trouble them, the way the Roosters have sort of been going, they've been trending upwards. But mate, Panthers just too good, it seems.
Oh, mate, the first 20 minutes of this game was cracker. Both teams were sort of going back and forward, and but again, just Penrith, the machine that they are, they just keep on keeping on every week and just building that pressure and picking away at teams, and eventually they just start to wear teams down, and the points come.
3 tries in about 11 minutes before half time, and that sort of just shut the gate.
Yeah, they were very good. Obviously, again, just a lot of attack going out to that left side. Most of the night, the Y with a double with 102 there, one of his best games for a little while. Cleary again, just being a non-Cleary owner, watch him pretty closely and just cringe pretty much the whole time, which is why I think got to get him in. If you don't have him, just get him in, even if he's only going to play 1 week and has 100,000 break even or whatever. Got to have him. Just they're so good. Yo, again, just when the game was sort of in the balance there, he produced a little inside, outside ball, whatever you want to call it, open the game up. But yeah, they're just brilliant. Points all across the park. It's just trying to figure out what they're going to do each week, whether they're going to attack the left, attack the right. Critter scored a really big try for them. I think it was 18-6 King, and Roosters were sort of back in it on the attack and had a last tackle 10 out, and they've put a kick up, and Critter's taken it out of about 3 blokes and ran the length and just sort of put the foot to the jugular. But yeah, the Chooks were a bit better. Couldn't stay with them. Crichton top scored a bit of a bounce back there with a 73, which is good. Plenty of people wondering about Angus Kingy. Do you think he plays for the Blues this year?
Well, put it this way, mate. If he doesn't, and Lolo is out for 13, I think Lolo to Crichton is a good swap. I think you might need a little bit of cash to do it, but that's sort of where I'm thinking, mate. Is just monitor that blue squad selection, monitor Lolo, and if it happens, straight swap from them, one to the other.
He shouldn't be too expensive, even if he turned up. He'll probably still be sub 600, which I think he's unders for Angus. He's still finding a bit of form, but yeah, big watch list if not, just to make sure 13, like you said, you might be looking at Cotters and Lolos and guys like Gus. So good call.
Yeah. A little bit dirty about Appy this week. I left him on the pine. I brought him in obviously for 13, half a dozen weeks ago. He's been good for me. He's had a couple of decent scores, but he's thrown in a couple of 30s, and I just thought this might have been one of those weeks. But he's playing pretty well, Appy, and I'm sort of glad I've got him in there for 13.
He is good. He got a nice little try just on half time as well. I think they had a bit of shape out the back for a droppy, and he's thrown the big dummy and over he went. So yeah, love to see a bit of that craft from the hookers. Yep. So anyway, moving on, Bugs.
Next game, Bugs.
Yeah, we don't need to go on about this one until the last one.
Well, how about that?
I mean, definitely talk about the Sharkies. Well, I'll tell you what, Cookie, mate, talk us through the Tommy Starling to Cookie trade. Tell me how you're feeling after 20 minutes.
Well, I think Starling was starting to bleed plenty, and it was always going to happen just before 13 when I wanted him, and he started the downward slope. Like it was, well over 500, and he was back into, I think it was 480 with a pretty decent break even, and not looking like hitting it. So the old brains trust had a bit of a thought on Sunday Arvo, as I was sort of laying there, and thought I'd go Starling to Cookie. Cookie was going to be the hooker for the run home, just get it done before Starling lost any more cash. I had the cash there, and it was looking like a terrible trade initially because I think Starling got on and equaled his score after about 2 minutes of being on, and then Cookie's crossed, and then after updates, they only ended up being about 10 points different. So I reckon it was probably not the trade this week. It was probably the trade I needed to make 3 weeks ago.
Well, mate, it's funny I looked at that because obviously pre-update, I think Starling finished on 59 and Cookie was on 88. So you've basically gone from a 30-point differential to an 8-point differential. And, I
must admit, part of the thinking was the fixture. I liked Cookie better against the Raiders than I liked Starling against Rabbits. And then obviously Cookie will play the Tigers this week and Starling had Para. the fact Starling's not getting on the field after at least sort of 20 minutes as well. He's on 0 and Cookie's on at least 20. At least they're ticking over. Cookie will play bigger minutes. And as I said, Grant Cook will be my hookers for the run home barring injury, and it's done now. I don't have to, it's done. Don't worry about it again. With Starling, could have been anything. Could have lost more cash. Could have went up. Look, made the decision. It's done. Don't worry about it again.
Yeah, fair enough. But just go to the last game then. And as you put up before, the Sharkies getting up over the Titans, 25-18. Mate, as a non-Nico Hines captain, as I say, Captain Munster, I love that sin bin in the last 5 minutes. I've got Nico and
he's
helped me overall, but
you cock.
Just a little -8 points, -16 for any captainers. I loved it. It was beautiful.
I must admit, part of the reason to bring Cookie in as well was, I think, after seeing the scores over the weekend, King, I thought this is an opportunity here. If he can ton up, I'll be able to make a bit of ground up.
Yep.
Same thing with fucking Captain and Nico. I thought just get a 90, 100 and I'll be happy. And I was pretty happy till that fucking sin bin. I thought he might update closer to 100, which he wouldn't have anyway. But he ended up under less than Cleary did in the end.
So look, the commentary in this game, I don't think Mick Ennis was there, so that's maybe why it was good. But 6-all at half time. Gold Coast had come out in the first 2 minutes in the second half and just looked like they were going to steamroll Cronulla and just go on with it. And then there was just a play from the other end. I think it was Talakai out to Mulatalo, broke away, and a beautiful ball inside from Mulatalo to Nico to score the try. And mate, I heard in my heart every fucking Nico captainer just fucking cheer. I heard every fucking one of yous.
That wasn't looking good.
Absolutely cheer. And look, Cronulla were home from there. I think Nico set up the next try after that.
Yeah, he did.
And all of a sudden he went from fucking 15 points to about 75 in 4
20 to go. There was about 20 to go. I thought, how good's this?
Yeah.
And he's finished on 82.
So it sort of stopped after that. But, mate, he definitely did his job. Sharkies look good. Mate, did you watch... How good is this Lockie Miller?
He's got some pace on him, doesn't he?
I reckon he got away with about 14 obstructions just because the ref didn't know who the fuck he was. You look at Jarrell Hargraves, right? He got 10 minutes in the sin bin for mouthing off, and every time Andrew Fafita does something, he gets penalised, right? They just see these players and they sort of do it. Mate, they're going to learn very quickly that this Lockie Miller runs behind every single one of his own players. He will get done for 5 obstructions the next game he plays. He finds himself out of the squad this week, so we'll see what happens. But, mate, he looked good. The runaway
not a bad backup
second half.
On the bench there for you if you do miss someone. He was all right considering he's a union.
Yeah.
Defect.
Filthy union player.
But he played league until he was 22. So he only transitioned over sevens once he sort of couldn't make it in league. So, I don't mind Nicky. He's a league boy growing up anyway. So yeah.
All right, we'll give it to him. Yeah, look, nothing massive on how SR Masters back in the side scoring 84. I think Jared Wallace scored a double, maybe? At least scored the first one.
A double.
Campbell looked their best always, but yeah, Sharky's just ticking it on, and I reckon Oh, hang on. But the other one we would have called out is Peoples King. Where's People? Where are all the Benny, Kando, where are you now?
Fucking nowhere, mate.
Let's 41. He's in the 17. I'm asking last week, what's the fascination with Peoples? Why is everyone jumping on early? Case in point, I don't know what's going to happen with him this week, but he's at least not in the 17. He might end up playing. I don't know, but he's not even in the squad, King. You didn't bite early.
Hey, Noddy in the chat. The Dogs need someone like Lockie Miller at fullback. Mate, they do. Dufty is that kind of player. Dufty's out of form and he's having a bit of a bad season. And look, don't get me wrong, there's a few games where he's looked worse than fucking reserve grade. But I don't get hypnotised too much by this Lockie Miller. It was first game, circumstance, the team they played, whatever it was. There's a lot there that Lockie Miller can learn. So I wouldn't be, same thing. I wouldn't be jumping too quickly. And, even after the gun game that he had last week, he's straight back out of the 17, now that Will Kennedy's back this week.
Yeah, and also there's someone else in the chat here with McInnes. King. What are your thoughts on Cam?
Mate, that's what I said. Yeah, look, he's basically so Joey Manu and McInnes in for me this week is sort of what I'm looking at. There was something there last week, and I thought that he turned the corner. I just thought that he turned the corner in how he got involved in the game, in both attack and defence. 68 points, really, really solid. We saw that form that he had at the Drag. That sort of 70-point range was where he averaged with the right minutes. And I think a few sort of key outs or injuries here or there with Cronulla. This guy just belongs in that starting 13 for him at the moment. I think him at 13 is probably the way to go. And, yeah, I like it, mate. I like McInnes.
Yeah, look, and the Sharkies are scoring points. So, the team's up. You can pretty much pick any of them at the moment. They're doing pretty well. So, yeah, fair enough. And that was it. That was round 11.
There you go.
Oh, here we go. The People's Defenders. Yeah, I went People's. No, you did not say People's for 17 once, Benny. Pull your finger out of it.
I'm going to go take a piss, fellas.
That's the first time you've said People's for 17. Get your finger
I brought
out.
him in last week, Hampton.
Did you? No, I've gone early. I've gone early on plenty, but I never get to pull these pricks up on much, so I'm going to bloody pin this one.
Just 170k. I don't even remember why. Oh, actually, no, I do remember why. Because I was pissed off that Andrew Fafita was in my team.
Oh, no, look. As we said with Kiraz, it's a bottom dollar downgrade. It generates them cash. It freed up cash. Everyone had stiffies over him because he had New South Wales Cup stats of 80-plus Supercoach points every week. But anyway, we'll see what happens with it. I'll probably end up with egg on my face and he'll score 150 in round 17. You can fucking revisit this when that happens.
There we go.
Anyway. Fucking 17. Get your hand off it, Benny. Fucking talking shit. Fucking bullshit. All right. What's going on with Team List, King? Had a look yet?
In the chat. G'day, Jed. Welcome back, champion.
Hey, Jeddy.
Team List, mate. Yes. How does Marion Seve keep his spot, mate? He has been atrocious for Melbourne.
How is Eremiah? How are Eremiah and Seve now? I reckon Eremiah is. He must have photos of Bellamy's bloody doing something.
I tell you what, a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be honest, I put in the chat when they sort of had those outs. I said, it's nice that they can bring in blokes like Eremiah and Seve who've got a little bit of NRL experience. I couldn't have been more fucking wrong. These blokes are useless. They're fucking atrocious. So, anyway. Put Brendan Smith on the wing. He'll fucking have more of a go.
Look, Q's back for Melbourne, King. Harry Grant obviously goes back to hooker and pushes Smith back off the bench. Obviously, Melbourne won't play 13. Origin around the corner. Are you picking Melbourne for a big bounce back in this one? Do you reckon they'll put it to the sword? A big game from Munster and Harry Grant.
Fucking Benny, hang on, before we get there. Benny in the chat. Murray's off to Origin shortly and Host is out. They're not in the team this week and the bloke still can't make the 17. Peoples is gone. The champ is gone.
No, look, I reckon he might be a chance of 17 if Arrow plays Origin, but that's probably about it. If he's already out of favour, but we'll see.
Yeah, look, I hadn't even thought about him as 17, mate. I just looked at him and I thought, fuck, I wanted to get rid of Fafita. I wanted a bit of cash.
He was the move.
If he made something.
He was the move to make to get a cheapie in to generate some cash off other forwards.
Bogan's now. Bogan's fucking been talking to Benny, have you?
Oh, I got to.
Benny's been in your ear about him.
Listen, no one should be fucking listening to what I fucking say. So if I'm saying you should have went Peoples. You don't listen to me. I couldn't even fucking crack 900 last week.
They're the two blokes out of 130,000 super coaches that actually use Twitter.
I must admit, Hamay Saleh at 13 is a bit of a interesting one, which seems to be the downfall of young Peoples because it's pushed Arrow to 12 and. Anyway, is Nickel? Anyway, where were we?
I could still talk about fucking South lineup anyway. Storm versus Eagles.
Keep giving it to
Storm versus Eagles.
Hughes
is back. That's enough. Alec McDonald, I like him off the bat. I don't know. That kid's got ability. No Turbo. Fucking hurts the Sea Eagles. I don't like Garrick now. I want to get a refund.
I think there was some stats Kendo was flicking around about Ola scoring better without Turbo in the team, and
actually,
who else?
that's one. Yeah, I will say
else.
that's one thing I actually thought.
There was it obviously Cherry would have been the obvious one, maybe, but yeah, Ola could be a bit more relevant again.
Olakatu.
Schuster was the other one. Schuster was the other one, King.
Yeah, Olakatu becomes a much more potent attacking weapon without Turbo there, just because it gives them one less option, and they've got to go to him more. So, I think Olakatu owners will actually be happy that Turbo's out.
And obviously plays a 13. We'll play 13. So he's a big premium to have for round 13, and there's not a lot of really good ones, but Big Guacamole is a target. Yeah,
Lyle Old in the chat. Anyone thinking Garrick as an NPR? Mate, I'm sure you mentioned this earlier in the chat. Fuck, it takes some balls to leave a 700k player out of your team. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, I've got Cooler and Chipolata, Tuipuloto. And I'd imagine I'll be trying to not play him this week, King. You reckon? Or I guess if one of them's on Seve's wing, on Seve's side, or
look,
might have another look at that.
I've had Cooler. I haven't started Cooler at all. I don't think I've played him 1 week. I've had him since I had Chipolata first. So back when everyone was sort of bringing in Cooler, I actually bought in Tuipuloto like second or third round. Just his base, his work rate, Tuipuloto off the wing is huge, whereas Cooler definitely needs stuff to go his way to score well in Supercoach. So he definitely hasn't been the best buy. I've just sort of kept him for round 30 for now. But
I think Cooler and Tuipuloto are the right, and it's Olam. Olam's on the left. So you have Aramaya out there. So Tuipuloto might be all right, but maybe not Cooler.
Olam will just fucking destroy him.
Yeah, we'll see. Tuipuloto is a good option there with the DC now, obviously, as well. He finds that big cutout ball, which he found on the weekend, and a bit of a target in the air with no turbo as well. So anyway.
Shieldsy, what's the situation with Fino? Is he still inside? Mate, he stabbed some gun. I'm sure he's in jail still. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't kept up with him.
Does anyone know what ended up happening to Blake Ferguson? Is he still sitting in Japanese prison?
No, I think not. He's playing country footy somewhere. I think the Knights were trying to sign him. But I think he's off to
Armadale or fucking I don't know, Alice Springs or something.
I think he secured a contract over in England or somewhere like that in one of the teams. So,
next game, folks.
Oh, good call, Lyle. When is Segi getting a run? We thought we'd see that. Fucking, it's not happening. But geez, that would have been nice, wouldn't
it? Segi.
And plenty of people interested in that extended bench with Jackie Hovarth there for Melbourne, King. Will Warbrick as well is another interesting name if Save's a piece of shit, because I think that Warbrick's meant to be a bit of a talent. But yeah, anyway, we'll carry on this week.
No changes for the Panthers. One of the blessed things about being the best team in the comp is when you don't have to change your team each week. So these guys are just going to be better and better every week. Everyone else trying to sort of, maintain sort of injuries and squad players and stuff like that. Tevaga Fido comes back on for Kyle Felt, who's out for a few weeks. MCL, I think he's got a high grade, so he's about 6 to 8 weeks out. Obviously no Lolo there, mate. Cohen Hess goes in the 13th spot. I still think Lolo misses 13. We'll see what happens there. But, mate, the Cows,
people talking about Reece Robson, King, I've heard this week. Reece Robson was looking like a good hooker option. Maybe you got a Randall to him or something. For round 13, been playing 80 for the last month and scoring well. Obviously, with Lolo out, Granville looks like to come onto the bench. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But Robson's a great buy. 560k, a really low break even. Has been, look at his last month. He's been really productive. But between rounds 13 and round 17, the next 6 weeks or 5 weeks, apart from Penrith this week, the Cowboys have a really good draw. They play the Titans, Dragons, Manly, and then Brisbane. So I mean, it's not really good, but it's pretty good. So he could be a decent pickup. Still with Granny on the bench.
Next game, folks.
All right. Fuck.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Hold on.
Fuck. I was going to talk about fucking Jake Granville a bit more.
Anyone who plays for Panthers are worth putting in your team.
Talk about Granville.
No, we're going to talk about Hammer. I think Hammer's cheap and he's getting a start on the wing because Felt's out for a bit. How much is Hammer, King? You know?
No.
Hammer Sai for dough. It's Tab. How what is it? Hammer Tab TAB. How do you not know him when his last name's first 3 letters are TAB?
I fucking know they can't. I just never consider him in Supercoach. Supercoach.
Yeah, I mean, looking at something like that, it'd be hard. 280k in a team that's scoring points. Kyle Felt generally finishes a lot. You could do worse. That's all I'm saying. Plays around 13. Should play 13. Does he play? Does he play Origin?
Plays around 13.
Well, I thought he was going to play 13, but he'll probably play Origin now. Felt's out.
So
he was fucking playing Origin anyway.
Where? Where's he playing Origin?
On the wing.
Who over Felt or fucking Coates? No chance.
Who's the centers? Gagai and Holmes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Who's the wings?
I'd imagine Felt, and I would have thought Felt's and Coates.
I would have had Tevaga ahead of Felt.
He doesn't even fucking play for the Cowboys first grade squad ahead of him.
Doesn't matter, mate.
Wouldn't you?
It doesn't matter.
Like, I know.
Origin doesn't fucking take into consideration who or where you play for your club team.
Yeah, but
fucking put
it's
a poll
a fucking boys club, mate. It is.
I don't think Slater. I think Slater
last season. Kevy fucking Walters likes him more. Billy Slater will fucking like him more as well.
What about someone like a Cobbo though over Hammer?
Nah.
No?
Hammer destroys.
Difference. Oh, Cobbo's a chance, to be fair, actually. Cobbo's a good chance.
What happened to Tuolungi? Oh, he's playing. Someone in the chat. Tuolungi probably gets to go for Queensland, if not Hammer. Tuolungi's just not a big enough name yet. I agree that he's got ability. I like Tuolungi probably better than them. But I don't think from a Queensland point of view he's got a big enough name. Anyway.
Yeah, all right. We'll see. We'll find out on Sunday. I'm arguing that Hammer's ahead of Felt, and Felt's out.
Well, I brought Felt in last week, so he's going to get fucked.
What?
Oh, shit.
India draft side?
No. I was trying to odd, but
from the bloke that brings in fucking Alloy, and who was the other one?
Dylan Walker.
Walker, that was it. D-Walk, you love those Manly boys. You've gotten fucking Garrick.
Mate, I do. I had Turbo, I had Chipolata, I've had fucking Cooler. Mate, I got a bit of a soft spot for the fucking Manly Sea Eagles. I don't know why.
All right, let's move on. Fuck it.
Okay.
Who are we up to? Brizzy Titans. Ooh.
Brizzy, I got to go get some more drink.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. There's no changes for Brisbane side. Adam Reynolds still out with a hamstring issue, so Big Marm still will get his second game. He looked good. I think he was really good against us. He's a little live wire and caused plenty of headaches. So there'll be plenty of people looking at Ezra as a downgrade option from an Elias or someone like that. Probably will he play 17? I don't know if he would play 17. They don't have any walk-up starters in the Origin side in positions he would play, maybe off the bench potentially. I don't know, but maybe not. So a bit of a stretch unless there's going to be a bit more long-term to A-Ray. If you got Cobbo, you're riding that wave. Stags, riding that wave. I know there was people looking at getting off Stags last week, but I think you just keep him in for the simple fact that that's what he can do, and a couple of good matchups for him. Titans side of the park, the biggest news I think would be Fafita being in the extended bench, which a few of the boys have already mentioned in the chat. It will be interesting, Lyle. I don't know if Fafita would get picked for Queensland. I don't know. He's probably going to be a bit underdone and wasn't exactly in world beater form.
Of course he will.
Wait, see. I think he's too good.
Yeah.
Like some of those guys like Slater and that will be keen to get their hands on him and use him in the Origin domain. I guess that's something we forget. There's a different sort of stable there at Queensland now, some different footy heads in there. So it'll be really interesting to see what direction they go with the Queensland side this year. But back to Supercoach wise, I actually think there's a couple probably good buys in this Titans side. I've had for more all season, Bogue. So I don't know why he's. I don't see many people with him in their side, and I don't know why. He's pretty consistent. He obviously doesn't set the world on fire every week, but he's, like I said, he's pretty consistent.
But you still can't fucking pronounce his surname.
What'd I say?
For more, again?
There you go, 538k with a 40-odd break even. So you could do worse, and he will get you sort of at least 50 to 60 pretty safely, or at least in the last month. He has the odd 30 or 40 in him. But
the one that once again, like Colbo, he was a $20 note that I fucking threw away, thinking it was a receipt.
Yeah, so start with him. there's probably a couple other ones there, but you just have to wait and see next week to make sure that they're actually going to be there. But I reckon Fumore's probably pick of the bunch at this point. I don't know. Do you go someone like, if you're looking to downgrade Tommy Turbo, is there any world where people go Jaden Campbell? 470k. He's a bit like Walsh. You're going to need him to get those attacking stats, but I think everything sort of centres around him in that Titan side. But it is a Titan side, so what can you say?
Well, I guess if you're trying to transfer that Turbo money to somewhere else, it could be an option. But I
mean, he's based.
I don't know how he'd go as a straight replacement. Wouldn't you be looking at when, I don't know, maybe save that money until Latrell gets back from his holiday in America? Oh, injury.
This is. I mean, we talked about can you go someone that might make a bit of short-term cash.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed with him because he can score a 20 and he's got a 20-odd break even, but you could probably do worse. The draw's not amazing. Brisbane Cows, South Sharks, so probably makes it a bit hard, and you wouldn't probably pick players out of Titan side too often at the moment anyway, so might be clutching, but just trying to give people some ideas. But we'll wait and see. Deefy is, as I said, on the bench. We'll have to wait and see again. I reckon he will probably, I imagine he'll probably want to play to get himself ready for Origin. Big break even, so if he was to play and not play many minutes, he could be in line for some big price drops over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, he could be cheap soon. Moving on to the next one.
Did he literally go down the shops to get another drink?
He went to drop an Edgar. Oh, game of the round here.
Yeah.
The Warriors taking white spokes. Jeez.
Strap
yourself in. Make sure your Saturday Arvo's penciled out.
Saturday fucking afternoon, 3 o'clock. Go and fucking fly a kite or something instead. Enjoy your day. Go outside.
Bogues, I mentioned Arzi. Dejan Arzi last week was an option. He's definitely not, because CHT comes back into the side, even though there was some chat about him leaving footy. I didn't really look into that too closely, but CHT's in. Arzi drops out into the reserves. AFB is now out for the season, apparently, so Jazz comes in at prop. And with Wade Egan out, Lussick play in hooker. The other interesting one I did notice on that team list, which you just mentioned here, is Dynamis Louis on that extended bench. So again, there's another bit of competition for Jazz. Once you got Curran back, you've obviously got Dynamis there. Yeah, might not be great. But again, the Warriors do play 13. As King said, he wouldn't know because he's got none of them because they're probably all going shit.
Yep.
Hopefully, Valea can save another 60 for round 13. SJ, Bud, you already touched on it. Plenty of people now talking about SJ, which is interesting. He's got a negative break even, and he scored well the last couple of weeks. But have a look at the 6 weeks prior to that, and tell me if you still jump on.
He should drop the ball off the kickoff every fucking game.
I think it's a waste of a trade going in Ilias to SJ personally. He might score well this week against us. Maybe he's okay. 13, but I can't see him making 100. Well, maybe he could. I mean,
I don't mind SJ now that Tohu's back. Like Tohu, we know Tohu's played like 5'8" and stuff before. He is a ball playing second rower with the base. So it's that little bit of sort of extra play around that sort of team that he gives. I think that sort of frees up Johnson a little bit away from sort of maybe defenders that sort of attack him. They'll sort of have to step back a little bit. But I think the SJ days are gone, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he just put. Yeah. I think he just put. As I said, he fucking dropped the ball off the kickoff, and I think that just put him into gear for the rest of the game to try and earn that back from that mistake. Yeah. I think it was a one-off, freakish fucking performance, and it won't be the norm for Johnson.
Boys, I know Curran's out, and I know they're stacked, but Jack Murchie's only 287k. So no point looking at that.
I've been a fan of Murchie. I like sort of what he brings, but he probably hasn't found the consistency in this team that brings him into relevancy.
It's so hard to pick any of them like these fringe guys because they could just be dropped out of the squad completely one week or playing some position they haven't played. Like Brownie's just can be so red hot.
Well, I mean, Murchie's the type of player, mate. Not only does he sort of drop out of that 13 when Curran comes back, right? But Murchie can find himself in the fucking 21 jersey, like there's just too much doubt there in the Warriors team with those back rowers. I mean, we know Tohu belongs there. We know Curran belongs there. Aiken seems to have held his spot and has been solid. He just seems to rotate everyone else, including Tevaga.
What about the MILF? Do you bring in the MILF?
No.
Don't touch the MILF. There's some classic tune. Knights by 30. No way. Give both teams 1 point and call it a wrap. I'd do that too, buddy. Ilias, JP was thinking Ilias to SJ King, and I sort of said no. So he's wondering who else would you go then? If you weren't going to go on Ilias to SJ, would you go Ilias to SJ? Do you have Ilias?
No, I haven't had.
You got gun halves, don't you? All four.
Yeah. I've had stacked halves for a while now. Look, if you're getting rid of Ilias and you don't have cash to go someone else, like if you're genuinely looking at SJ, maybe for the next 3 to 4 weeks to make, he's got more potential obviously to make 200k than Ilias does. Like SJ's a season 600, 650k performer. Can he get to 500 on half his ability? Yeah, but
he's already got the scores in his rolling average, which Ilias will get 30 fucking every week. But at least SJ's got a couple spikes in there now. I don't know. Who else could you go? Who else fucking could you actually go?
Well, it just depends what you look. Are you looking for a player for 13? Are you looking for a keeper to the end of the season? Are you looking for someone for another stepping stone? I really think your halves have got to comprise of either Cleary, Hines, and DCE, like that three combination. The same as we've talked about the combination of Teddy, Pappy, and Turbo at the back. Munster's really been the standout 6 for the season. Dylan Brown, Cody Walker, again, they're probably the 3 to pick there. I just think this is the time of the year that you've got to have gun halves because they're all your scoring potential. I don't know. That's sort of what I decided early on in the year, and I got rid of Ilias really, really quickly.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I've got the Ilias problem at the moment, but I'll cross that bridge a bit later. It's not a big deal right now for me, but I don't know. Fair enough, JP. If maybe that is the only viable option to fuck Ilias off. So,
seriously, talking about just waiting to pounce on Curran when he bottoms out. Mate. Yeah, I'm
fucking malicious.
I couldn't agree more, mate. I reckon Curran, once he's back, maybe give him a week or two to sort of get back and get the same sort of minutes and the same kind of consistency with the Warriors and where he sort of plays. I reckon Curran, once he's back, is a hold to the end of the year and a keeper.
Plenty of people saying Burton as well, and I had a good chat to Big Ted. I know you touched on it earlier, but plenty of people jumped on Burton last week when he was closer to 400.
One thing, obviously, my feelings from the start of the season was where I thought with Burton, and I think they were justified in where we saw the Bulldogs. If you're jumping on Burton maybe from an Ilias for 13, I think that's a go. Like that's probably something you can look at. Burton has shown enough in that Bulldog squad to say he can score that sort of 65 to 80 range. I just can't see 120 out of Burton at the moment. Like,
I can see it. I reckon he's around the corner.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a Burton fan. I know you're not.
Well, put him back in the Panthers, mate, and I say yes. Like, put him back in a Panthers jersey. Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe not this
year. Put him
in
the blue, white, the Bulldogs, mate. I don't want to go near anyone in that team, and I'm annoyed that I got Max King and Luke Thompson, mate. Like, those cunts are pissing me off no end.
Yeah. Look, anyway, a few options there on that Warriors side. I think 8 can look at Tohu next week for sure. Tevaga maybe next week as well. But yeah, a few options there. Don't overlook the Warriors, even though they're fucking getting drilled most weeks.
Yeah.
Before we move on, fellas, just a
fucking elbow and drag it out.
Drag it out.
Fuck
okay.
Me. Fuck
yeah.
Just another thing. One thing for Josh King. I've just received a notification on my phone. I've whinged about this on Twitter before, but the Zone Stream Live Sports is increasing the prices of its subscription. Agreed to the new price by 7th of June 2022 to keep the subscription active. Now $13.99 a month, was $2.99 a month.
Oh, Eddie Hearn is collected.
Fuck you, Eddie Hearn. I am not fucking subscribing to DAZN for fucking $14 a month and then paying pay-per-view for the fights that I really want to fucking watch. You can get fucked.
That's probably what annoys me the most, mate, about all these streaming services, KO included, DAZN. If I'm paying my fucking, I'll bump to 13 a month, 14 a month, whatever it is on DAZN.
If I can still watch like, the fucking big fights on the stream with my mates, I'm not paying fucking $50 to watch
see a pay-per-view inside,
especially for boxing pay-per-views. I'm not paying fucking $50 to watch a bunch of fucking bunnies on the undercard get knocked out, and then have one good fight or two good fights. There's usually a co-main event as well. It's like
that's probably what I do rate. Like, mate, I love my fighting, I love my boxing, I love my UFC, I love all that kind of stuff. At least the UFC's got that right. Is when they held a big card and they charge $60 pay-per-view, the 5 main fights are all fucking title quality fights. Any boxing fucking, promotion is 1, maybe 2, main event quality. So, yeah. Anyway, where the fuck did that come from?
I just got a notification on my phone asking me to upgrade.
King, Cambosis or Haney?
Haney.
Oh, mate, you can't ask me to be unpatriotic, mate.
Yeah.
Cambosis.
That's hard. In
front of the 80,000.
You're not going, King. How did you not get a ticket?
Honestly, like, watching him up against Lopez, like Teofimo. If you go back to that fight, Teofimo destroys Cambosis again, right? Like, Teofimo went in with completely the wrong game plan, completely the wrong attitude, and really overlooked what Cambosis could have done to him. And what I was really surprised at is that even halfway through the fight, Lopez didn't realise what was happening in front of him. Haney won't have that issue. Haney's coming in this completely prepared. Look, you want an Aussie to win, mate. I want every Aussie fighter to win every fight I watch him in. I think this is probably the biggest fight, and probably Haney's going to win, mate. But fuck,
hopefully he doesn't knock.
If Cambosis fucking knocks him or gets a points decision, mate, I'll be cheering as loud as anyone.
I hope he doesn't destroy Georgie here. That'd be a bit of a shame, but who knows? We'll wait and see.
That's the thing, George.
Anyway,
George,
fuck off with you. You're gonna start fucking BJ on the canvas fucking later. Fucking off. All right, Bogues, go on, come on.
Cambosis got very fortunate that he was able to fucking get in the head of what was his name in the last fight, King? But
I can't say
he
it.
said Lopez.
Teofimo.
Yeah.
Teofimo. How do you say it?
Teofimo. He got in his head and fucking pissed him off, and he came out like a fucking bull out of a gate and gassed himself in a fucking round and a half, and that's how Cambosis got over. I think Haney's going to see that, and he's going to come out and he's going to calm himself. He's not going to let fucking Cambosis get under his skin, and he's going to fucking smash him.
Mate, I don't think Cambosis had any effect on Teofimo whatsoever, other than Teofimo overrated himself with what the fight was, right? Like, you can sort of come out and say Cambosis, in the media and in the in the lead up and that got into his head. I don't think that's true. I think it was more that Teofimo got in his own head, thinking he was better or too good, that he didn't have to rate Cambosis. So,
yeah,
mate, it's the same thing. Look. Let's talk about quickly Timmy Zoo, right? Timmy Zoo, Charlo.
Just in the chat, we have
Tim Zoo does not have the resume to go up against a Charlo.
No, he doesn't.
Like, this is Jamel Charlo has had 35 fights. The last 20 of them have been against world class.
Doesn't stop them from
Tim
calling
Zoo
him out.
does not have a single fight against a world class opponent. Timmy Zoo will get his ass kicked if he takes Charlo within the next 5 fights.
So just in the chat, I might put a poll up later, but we have discussed doing a boxing show separate to BJonGameDay in the past. Where we fucking find the time to do it, who fucking knows? But it has been something we've been discussing just to pad out some content a bit.
Oh, that's
But anyway,
off,
on to the next game.
Next game. Scroll the next screen.
Eddie Hearn is a viewer of the show. Jetty's fucking sort it out.
Oh dear.
Oh,
all right, Rabbitohs up against the Tigers. I don't even know if any of these teams got any changes. Brent Naden comes into starting centres. Garner into the 11, like we sort of spoke about. Tuolangi on the bench. New Brown, cracking return. Huge, inspirational. Well done, New Brown, on what you did last week, scoring a couple of tries. Mate, from a Supercoach point of view, I absolutely fucking hate Cody Walker. What a miserable fucking cunt. Like, seriously, can someone tag that motherfucker in this? You know,
be careful. Be careful what you say about any Indigenous player this week.
20 seconds. Cody Walker, you miserable fucking cunt. Have a fucking go. Like,
he's got a bit of sand in there or something, hasn't he?
Oh, mate. Dead set. Like, yeah, move on.
Yeah, you just want to wipe the face with that attitude, don't you?
Yeah. I hate nothing more than someone who's got ability and doesn't use it. I should know. Done it my whole life.
Until you sign with the Storm.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The Rabbits have been pretty ordinary this year. Obviously, we've seen that through a few of the results in the opening sort of half of the season. I think there's every chance the Tigers can roll them in this one. Supercoach-wise, you're not going to be looking at many Rabbitohs, especially not Peoples this week. They don't play around 13. That said, I think I went early on a side TAS. So, Benny, you can have that one. I went a week early on TAS, and that didn't work out. But yeah, I got Cookie last week though, believe it or not. But that was set and forget. Hooker, but yeah, it'd be hard to bring in any of these South blokes this week. Tigers equal, don't play the bye. So you're really going to look at them. I know people looking at Garner. They don't play 13, do they? The Tigers, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they don't. No, they don't.
Even if they're scheduled, they won't.
And Tane Milne, he's fucking useless.
Yeah, that was a big one. I know a lot of. I think I know not a lot of people, but there was plenty of people that jumped on for some cash, and that sort of backfired a little bit in a lot of ways.
Marky Nichols is back. Yes, Shieldsy. Marky Nichols. He's pulled himself off the list. We've given the big useless cunt fucking, a little bit of a fucking reprieve. He's not on the list anymore. I like Marky Nichols.
I'll tell you what, the fucking South bench is almost completely made up of list players, aren't they?
Oh, mate, yeah, you topped the bottom. I'm a big fan of Havili, mate. Forget Supercoach. Mate, Havili's got more heart himself than the other 16 players in the fucking team. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Big Ted's saying King Garner's got -13 BE. So that's the only one probably you could look at.
Look, the centre wing status. I think that's the big thing. The fact that he's got CTW now is a huge thing. I reckon people can take the punt on him.
The other one that's been relation has been fucking Big Joe. He's been killing it. They're getting through his work. He's getting some minutes, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself.
He's very, very much in danger of coming off the list this last few weeks. Like
he's pulling his finger out big time.
Defensively, I've always stated, right? Defensively, Joe is the worst forward in the comp. Like a fucking cone could step around him. Fuck me. Like Joey O has absolutely shocking goal line defense. But he's sort of shown a little bit of creativity with the ball. He's a little bit of Isaiah Yeo about him with the 13 on his back. I don't mind it. I really don't.
No, he's been good the last sort of 6 weeks or so, really. So, yeah, look, I'm not doing it. He's nearly 600k now, but fuck, if you for some reason started with him at 400k, good on you.
Shieldsy says I'd switch Nicarima and Tough. I don't disagree, mate. I like Cody. Cody brings experience and that ability without having too much of a ceiling in ability, if that makes sense. Taff, I don't know. Not a fan.
I think speaking of Taff as well, whilst you say you wouldn't pick any of them up, it's definitely, I think, time to jump off Taff, unless you're deciding you're going to hold him for 17, which I don't think it's really worth doing because Latrell's probably going to be back by then. But he's pretty much hit his peak price. You'd need him to sort of blow up again now, like sort of go 100-ish in this game to sort of go on another cash drive. So I think you'd be pretty safe trading him out. He's done his job, 400k. It's just, where do you want to go with him?
Mate, I was hoping having a smoke and getting a drink, you'd be fucking through all these games. Next game, Bugs.
How many more are there?
3.
We're on the Saturday night. Sharky's up against the Roosters. Will Kenny gets a return. Obviously, we see Lockie Miller drop out of the side. We spoke about that a little bit earlier. Siosifa Talakai passes his, what was it, ankle injury or something like that. So that seems to have no effect. He has been named at the centres again. Probably a little bit of a return to the Sharks side that we've seen dominate over the last 6 or 8 weeks. So they're looking good. Joey Manu I brought in this week because I think he's just fucking brilliant, and I'll take the 100s with the 20s. Now it's coming up to round 13, and he'll play that at fullback. Mate, Tupanua.
What do I do with him?
You fucking shoot the cunt.
I'd rather him not in the side at all than on the bench. Because he'll bleed a bit of coin now. And last time he come off the bench, he played 20 minutes. So fuck knows what you read into that. Whether there's a late switch from...
I think Butcher might go back to the bench.
Bobo, he does this. But again, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got me... It's one of the things I'm looking at this week, but I'm not sure what to do because I was always going to hold him for 13. I liked him for 13. If Gus doesn't get picked in Origin, the forward pack pretty much doesn't change, does it? So
put it this way, you
does he
could
just stay on the
have,
bench next week or what?
I think maybe even like after Jared's blow up last week, maybe Jared goes back to the bench, Takiaho up into the front row, Butcher back to the 13, Tupanua starting. Like it's not hard to see, like Robbo with how he sort of plays around with them. He's a hold for mine, Tupanua, especially if we've had him this long and for 13. But
did J-Dub get referred for that slap?
No, they just fined him. So he didn't get outed for the head high.
Yeah, okay.
They just fined him for the dissent against the ref.
And how about that May? Did you say you didn't say it? Did you? Debuted last week. Terrell May's the younger brother, or I know he's younger, but the brother of the Talon.
Yeah.
His first touch, he pretty much went straight through and gave the Chooks a bit of momentum, but he possibly is one for the future king. He's a big old beast of a thing and runs hard. Yeah.
Made 3 NRL players in the one family. It's always a good achievement. So,
not bad.
Yeah, well done to him.
I'll probably trade Satilli.
Bugs, why is my screen gone all fucking fuzzy and shit?
How's that?
I can't read the names anymore. There we go. That's better.
Pass.
All right.
Hold on, I'll make it even.
Yeah,
better.
next game. These are just 2 shit teams.
Oh, no, we shouldn't pass, but let's pass.
No, fuck it. Pass. Let's go. I want to get out of here. It's fucking 10:30. It's my bedtime. All right. Yeah, next game. Oh, that's the last game. All right. IPAP, 13. Niokora at 12.
Matto's still off the bench. What the fuck?
I don't think it matters. Look, Niokora goes off after 20 minutes. IPAP goes to the right-hand side. Brown comes on. After 35 minutes, Lane goes off. Madison goes on first. Madison plays 13. IPAP back to the second row. Lane goes off. Brown comes on in the 13. Madison goes to the left-hand side, second row. Mate, it's just the different names in different jerseys. We've seen it all season. If you got IPAP, don't be worried. If you got Matto, don't be worried. Lane's got the potential there, like we saw last week, to score 80. I'd have Niokora in the centres ahead of Opicic, but mate, the Eels are just a solid Supercoach side. It just depends. They're probably the hardest side, mate, to pick who's going to score the points each week. Because Dylan Brown can have a massive week. Mitch Moses can have a massive week. We probably haven't had the big week from Reid Marnie this year. There's a lot of years a lot of weeks in seasons past where he'll throw out a 100, 120. Marnie probably hasn't gone as big this season, so maybe he's due. Wonga Blake back in the wings. So
did Did Xavier Savage cop the duality update? Did he get centre wing? Because he's a possible lookout with the fullback this week, I reckon. If he got the
I've got to be honest, mate. I'm not too sure.
I don't actually. I don't think he did. Sav.
Croker back in
No,
for
he
Chris.
He didn't. Sav.
Ashton Chris looked all right last week.
Xavier Savage still fullback only, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. I think I've just called it before, mate, on the Raiders. Like they're just not a Supercoach friendly side. Like Tevaga looks good, but it doesn't equate to Supercoach points. Rapana is always active, but it doesn't equate to Supercoach points. Fogarty's come back.
I'll be interested to see how they go with Fogarty back. This is one guy I was keen to see at his new club, and we never got to see at the start of the year. So
yeah,
I'll be interested to see if the Raiders can turn it around a little bit with Fogarty there now.
Probably the only player I spoke about Hudson Young at the start of the season. I had him in my side in a few of the drafts and that. We saw him score 102 last week. He's probably the one guy out of this team I think can score tries and put on 4 or 5 weeks in a row where he does score a try. But I just want to stay away from the whole team with the Raiders.
I've had Hudson in a few drafts as well, and he's been fairly ordinary apart from the last 2 weeks, to be honest. Or last week, really. He hasn't done as well as I've expected. His base has been good. It's weird, but yeah.
He just hasn't had the attacking this year.
He can go on that run, though. It might be now. This could be the start of it. But yeah, he's been a bit disappointing. I was thinking he was having a big year.
Yeah.
Could be a good game, though, to watch.
That's
it. It could be a good game to finish.
Leagues, some can't beat some can't.
Yeah.
Another can't beat another can't.
Leagues, okay, let's go through this quickly. So, Bogan Cup, Polly's Pocket Rockets.
That's why Jetty's in the chat. 1100.
1100. So, yeah, Jetty, Savage Goons at 1100. Something Wong Bart with a 1038. Meat to Meat, Hamish with 1037. And Finch's Kids, Josh King, coming in 5th in the Bogan Cup. Onto the Royal Rumble. NVH Nathan with an 1136. Haynes Sweaty Sack Matty with 1117. I Feel Gould Damon with 1102. Beans Means Hines Michael with a 1082. And Bye Bye Chris with a 1077. The BJ Invitational. It was Big Marty again. He is flying. He is flying with an 1149.
That's why Teddy's in the chat as well.
Pipped Big Ted by 1 point with an 1148. He flew up the ranks as well to 565th. Brent Hampton, Vossi Bop with 1087, making an appearance in the top 5. Benny. Wearing me trade scorn with a 1069, and Shano with Cleary the best with a 1051.
Where the fuck's Clemmy lately? What's happened to Clem?
Not sure.
He's still in the draft.
I'll tell you what, can we give Shano some points for his fucking team name?
What was it again?
Cleary the
what?
Cleary the best.
Cleary the best.
Yeah.
Cleary the best.
That doesn't sound like something Shano would name his team. Fuck, what's going on?
Onto the group for the week.
Doesn't even want a Dally M. Fucking Shano, you can't say that shit.
Zip
Macca.
We done? Zip 03 Robert with a 1253 top for the week. Darren with the Dazzlers with a 1209. Doja Cats. Macca. Oh, he's back.
That's what I just said. Macca.
900. Is that 933 or is that 9,000?
That's 9.
Mackerel. Yeah, what's been going
that's
on?
That's 933. He should be in the Invitational. He's nearly taken out.
He is. He's our boy.
Yeah.
He belongs in the top 20 for sure.
Yeah, with an 1181. Serenity Now. There's a Seinfeld reference. Cameron with 1171. And what have we got here? Taranaki Volcanoes. Richard with a 1168. Which takes us to our group overall. It's O'Shea's Olays again. So it's starting to filter through now that the overall weeklies is going to look pretty similar. But O'Shea's Olays, Joshua with an 1111. Tinks Torpies Guy with a 1140 for the week, and he's sitting in 132nd.
Matty Buckman.
And he's equal with Matty, with Haynes Sweaty Sack, who scored an 11-17 this week. Vaughan of Supercoach, he's sitting in 206 spot overall with an 1100 this week. And the Stratty Highlanders, James, he's sitting in 206th position with a 1064 this week. And I noticed that Marty and Josh King are in the top 10 of the group. So there you go.
Flying, boys, flying. Keep it up, all you boys, on the image, on the graphic. Well done.
Draft results for this week.
Oh, fuck off, King.
Brent Hampton got defeated by Joshua King.
Didn't even fucking look.
What a joke.
Climmy, there he is. I don't know where Climmy's dropped off. Hope you're well, Climmy. Sign in if you...
Wait, he's probably at the pub.
Yeah. But he got absolutely pummeled by Kane Anderson this week.
Fucking had a win. Yes.
I went down to Shano.
Fuck.
Benny went down to Hell's Grannies. Hell's Grannies, the giant killers.
Hey.
And
fucking Benny.
The Shockmaster.
Typical Parramatta.
Start
the season off so well, get halfway through and fucking collapse.
We'll get to the ladder in a second. And the Shockmasters got defeated by Big Ted. So Big Ted just firing on all cylinders in all formats at the moment. Which takes us to the ladder. So Benny, there's a tie. There's a 4-way tie at the top of the ladder with Benny, Shano, Ted, and Kane Anderson, all on 14 points in the top 4. Followed.
I'm 1 win out of first, and I'm 6.
Followed by, and we play each other this week too, King. So, so we are playing for that 5th spot, mate.
Fuck me, I'm behind Wayno. Fuck's sake.
Yep.
Wayno doesn't even fucking play anymore.
Fucking
Cun's active there when fucking Bogan took the snapshot, but that's once every month.
I reckon he's only checking his draft team now because he's still going shit in Classic.
He might be.
But Shockmasters, Shocky, where are you, mate? Like, fuck.
Matty's gone. He's gone fucking AWOL as well.
I'm glad he's there because I'd be fucking bad.
But basically, everyone is still in it except for Shockmasters.
Teddy said Klim got food poisoning from a kebab. Probably Emre's fucking.
Fucking hell. What happened to Emre? Where's that cunt?
I had no idea. He
hasn't been in the rated squad.
He must be fucking injured because they'd be playing him if he was fit.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's it, fellas.
We're done.
Yep. Like, rate, subscribe, all that shit. Let us know in the.
We're up to, hang on, yeah, boys. We're up to 583. Help us crack 600. Come on, lads, share it out. Get your fucking mother's brother's cat to fucking subscribe.
We've got to get over.
Do something.
Lads,
help us out. Get
1,000
that up to 7,
so we can then start taking on sponsors, like Wild Turkey. So, like, rate, subscribe.
Put it in your Just fucking put a link to the channel in your email and just send it to all your contacts.
Yep.
Just everyone does that. Trickle down. What do they call it? What's that theory called, King? The fucking.
Jesus Christ.
Trickle down.
Trickle down.
Pyramid scheme.
Theory of relativity.
Economics, yeah.
Just fucking spam everyone with the link to the channel. Just fucking whatever.
Oh, if you see someone on their phone sitting on a park bench or something, just let them know. Type in
Jump on YouTube.
BJonGameDay.
Check these cunts out.
Oh, dear. All right, boys and girls, that's it for another week. Thanks for joining us. We're out. I've had enough. Catch you all next week. Good luck with trades. Good luck with the scoring. Hopefully you score less than I do. See you, boys.
Catches.